What's up? What's up? This is Dean Anthony TV. I'm here to do my spoiler review of The Flash. It's flat. It's The Flash. It's finally out. It's finally out after 3 years wait. Directed by Andy Muschietti. Barry is going to work, and suddenly he had to. Looks across and he senses a whole bunch of babies and a nurse fall from a window out of a hospital, and he goes get his flash ring and puts on his suit and goes save them. And he slows time down and he goes out and saves each and every one of them. And then he grabs all the babies. It's like 20 of them. Put one in the microwave and grabs the other and put them in the rest on the top of a mini table and bring them to the floor. And then they release time. And then the nurse screams as soon as she sees everything on the ground. And then he runs the rope. He runs to work. He's late, and his boss is furious. And the rest of the employees is asking where he been. As he leaves the job, he runs into Iris West, played by the lovely Kelsey Clemens, and she asks him what happened to her. I haven't seen you since college, and good to see him, and happy they worked at Central City. She wanted to see Barry, and she wanted to rush home, so he's worried about him. And then he runs home, and then Barry thinks to himself when he goes to his house, and he said he wants to change something. So he runs back in time, and he wants to keep his mother alive, and his father at jail, who commits the crime, and he was the only one in the house when she dies. So he jumps and gets in position in his pose, and he runs back in time. And then he goes and he looks at the old house, and he sees his younger self in the house. He uses the feast where Barry runs back in time with a point where his mother falls, and the tomato bursts open and kills her, and then he goes back to the supermarket to put the tomato can in her cart already, so then she doesn't, so it doesn't fall on her this time. And something happens on the TV. General Zod is on the TV, and he's taking over this city and the world. Now, Alfred calls him and says, "Are you ready?" And then he goes, and then out of nowhere, Batman calls. And he said he runs in his pose, and he runs at the Speed Force, and back in time as a teenager. And then he walks into his house, and he sees his mom, Nora. She's happy to see him. They start vibing together, and suddenly he hears and sounds, and someone says, "Hi, I'm home." And he looks at the window. He sees himself. It's his younger self in a different outfit with longer hair. So he runs outside and he confronts himself and tells him that he's here for him. He's here. And his younger self asks, "Why is he here for?" So they run up to his room, and then he tells him what happened. And he said that he went back in time, but he messed up something. So that's why we're both here. Because at the Central Police Station, and they both sneak up to the building by phasing into the door, since the security blocked the door. And then Barry number 2, he puts Barry number 2 in the chair, the younger one, and he made adjacent to with the chemicals, and then they're waiting for the lightning bolt to strike him. So the lightning bolt strikes him, and it goes to Barry 1 first, and then goes to Barry. So then Barry 1 doesn't have any powers now, and then Barry 2 got the powers. So then they head back to the house, and then Barry thinks of how he's gonna fix this. So he went out to go and find Bruce in Wayne Manor. So he goes to Wayne Manor. The place is creepy and vacant. No one's in the rooms, and he saw a lot of ancient sculptures and stuff in the rooms. And then he walks to the kitchen, and suddenly Bruce appears. Michael Keaton version comes out. The crowd goes so excited. Comes out and he slashes and dashes and tries to fight Flash in the kitchen. They all duck and dodge him and everything. And he asks him, "What is he doing here?" And the two Barrys find all the stuff near the mainframe computer, and even the Batmobile. Barry that he needs to find Superman. So they go to Russia, And then Michael Keaton, he gets ready. He said, let's go. He gets ready. He gets his bat plane. The two batters get in the plane. They all fly to Russia, and then they go to find this vault in the top of the building. They open the vault. While breaking the combination, they see a little girl that's sick, so they grab her and they run out. But then the security guards come. So then he tells the other batter that he has to take her to the roof to get her energy back. So she goes to get the sunlight, and then she gets her suit. She puts it on, and then she's Supergirl. Then they ask Batman to help Barry #1 to get his power from the giant voltage machine that formed. So then Batman go put him on a chair, put the cuffs on his arms, and then he said, "Let's do it." Barry went to do it. The older Barry says, "Do it. Let's try to get my powers back." So they slapped on the electric machine. It didn't work the first time. So then Supergirl grabs Barry #1, takes him up to the bat symbol, and then the lightning bolt hits the bat symbol and then hits him. So then he got his powers, and now they're ready to go. So since he got his suit, so he gives the suit back to Barry #1, and the Barry #2 had to create his own suit. So he uses Batman's old suit, sprayed it red, put a flash symbol. So it's a funny joke, funny gag that he made his own suit right there. And then they get in the bat plane again, and they go and say, "We're gonna go after Zod and try to kill him." And it's a crazy fight back and forth between Zod and his henchmen, and Fiora is there, so they fight back and forth. They both run in a symmetrical pose in opposite ways and knock out the henchmen at the same time. And they proceed to the bat. The Batplane flies above and crashes to the Zod ship. Batman is gone. So then Barry runs back in the Freeze Force and runs backwards before it happens. Then he's back alive, and he does something else. And he jumps. He tells him to eject out of the Batplane. And then he gets out, and the Zod ship explodes. And then Batman puts explosives on the giant henchman. Then he kills the henchman, but he gets tired from the heat of battle, and then he passes out. Then Flash is mad, and then he tries once again to go back into Speed Force, but then all the multiverse, it opens up, so that shows like the 1960 Batman, the 1989, the 1978 Christopher Reeve, also the Kara girl from the Supergirl movie, and then cool, and then also the movie that didn't happen, the Nicolas Cage Superman movie. So it's amazing. And the young one goes back in time. Randall Speaker gets his age as the old one, and there's another one that has a spike one. It's his, and he goes, looks at him, and he opens his crashes his face, and then it's the older version that been running for years to try to fix it, but it all failed. So then Barry goes back in the right thing. He goes back in time again, but then he didn't put the tomato can in the card. He puts it back on the shelf. And then he has one good moment with his mom, and he said everything's gonna be okay. And she gives him a hug, and then she hugs him back, and he's happy. So lastly, he goes back to work, and then Bruce said, and then everybody said that Bruce is coming. He said, which Bruce? And he goes to Bruce out of the limousine, and it's George Clooney. The crowd is shocked. The worst Batman movie for the Batman the Run movie, the Joel Schumacher movies. Everybody gasped and laughed. He messed up again. The movie ends. I give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was some noticeable CGI that looked unfinished, but overall a good movie. The comedy is great. The emotion beats are good. It basically shows the choices that you make in your life is going to determine what affects you.